Let's start for this update from Graham Bailey on Rodrgo. Andrea Bat has been doing a lot of work in the background on a deal for Rodrgo in recent weeks, attempting to understand the makeup of a potential transfer, and preliminary talks have taken place with the players' representatives. It's understood that Real Madrid's hierarchy have made it clear that should they be willing to sell, they will be realistic with their valuation and would accept around £70 million, even if they think he could be worth closer to £100 million. Arsenal are open to Rodrgo taking a spot among their highest earners, even if new deals for William Saliba and Bukayo Saka break the 300,000 a week threshold. So, sorry, I just came from eating. Apologies. Rodrgo. So this from Graham Bailey, this particular update is good news after good news. So let's start with the first paragraph. Andrea Bat has been doing a lot of work in the background on a deal for Rodrgo in recent weeks. So that for a step, that is great. At least we know that we want the player and we are actively trying to get him, because for a player like Rafa Leao, we know that we're not in discussions to get him. You know, a player like Alexander Isak, I doubt we're in discussions to try and get him. But it's great to know that for Rodrgo, we are currently in discussions to try and get him. We've had talks with them, but has had meetings with them. I don't think for Rodrgo, the ball is in our court. The ball is in their court. Does Rodrgo want to leave Real Madrid? And does Xabi Alonso and Real Madrid want Rodrgo to move on? Maybe after this Club World Cup, we'll have a better answer. Attempting to understand the makeup of a potential transfer, and preliminary talks have taken place with the players' representatives. It's understood that Real Madrid's hierarchy have made it clear that should they be willing to sell, they will be realistic with their valuation, would accept around 70 million. Now, that's the other thing that I think would hold us back, the money. So if Rodrgo is available for 70 million, I think you have to go and get it done. I thought he was going to be like around 90, 95 million, as they've said here. They know his valuation is close to 100 million. I don't think his value is close to 100 million. I'd say Rodrgo's around an 80 million pound player as of now for me. So if you're able to get him for 70 million, just like Gyökeres for 60 million, I think it's a no-brainer. You don't get players of that quality that easily, you know. And I'm sure the moment he becomes available, you'll hear Bayern Munich are interested. You'll hear maybe a Man City last minute trying to get him. But we usually know that when you do initial talks with players, we usually end up getting them. So I'd still be confident of getting him. For 70 million, I think that's a no-brainer. Now, there's other things we've been doing in the background, maybe working towards the Rodrgo deal that we don't know about. Maybe the reason they're trying to sell Martinelli is to raise funds to buy Rodrgo. Maybe that's the case for that. Maybe the reason why they're trying to, you know, bargain on the Sesko deal and bargain on the Gyökeres deal is because you want to save a little bit of money to try and get Rodrgo from Real Madrid. So all of those things that we've been doing in the background, maybe it's pointing out towards us getting Rodrgo, because I don't think we'd be linked to any other, like, that level of winger who's going to cost that price. We know we wanted Nico Williams, but Nico Williams is going to Barcelona. That is not happening. We were mentioned as potential target. Lookman was mentioned as a potential target for us, but I don't think we are that serious in terms of getting Lookman. Rafa Leao, I don't think Arsenal have really ever said they want Leao that much. I don't think so. We'll be linked to Gordon, but I don't think Gordon is worth that kind of money, and I think most of you would agree. I think if you are to ask me, Gordon 70 million, Rodrgo 70 million, I know who I'm going to choose between those two. I don't think there's any other winger that you've really pushed that much. Even someone like a Semenyo was mentioned, but you're not that serious to get him. So for Rodrgo, 70 million, I think that would be an absolute steal. Now, the fee is not the only thing that might have been the problem. What about the wages? Now, the last paragraph there, Arsenal are open to Rodrgo taking a spot among their highest earners, even if new deals for William Saliba and Bukayo Saka break the 300k a week threshold. Now, those are things I love to hear. Those are things I absolutely love to hear. I absolutely love the work that Edu and Atta did in terms of reducing the wage bill and having a better wage structure. That is great. They did a great job, I think, apart from putting Havertz in 280,000 a week. I think that was a mistake. But the rest of the team, I think everyone is on reasonable wages. Now, I think Gabriel and Saliba and Saka should be our highest earners. So Gabriel getting a new contract and Saka and William Saliba hopefully following, they do deserve that. Saka and Saliba, those guys have been very, very consistent. They should be the ones top in terms of our wage bill. So if William Saliba and Saka getting 20,000 per week, I don't know how much Gabriel has been given. I don't think I've seen that valuation anywhere. and then we are able to also give Rodrgo around that 280,000 pounds per week, I think that would be great. That's what you'll need to do. To get players like this, as I've always said, you're not going to get Rodrgo and pay him 30,000 per week. That is not going to happen. You're not going to get Rodrgo and give him, even 80,000 per week. No, he's leaving Real Madrid, a place where they give him a lot of money. So if he's going to join you, you're going to have to give him a lot of money. Right now, if Arsenal wants Rodrgo and Man City wants Rodrgo and Bayern wants Rodrgo, and let's say PSG wants Rodrgo, and let's say a team from Saudi Arabia wants Rodrgo, you're going to have to give him money. Saudi Arabia can easily say 400,000 a week. Man City can easily say 300 and something thousand a week. Haaland gets paid 500,000 per week. De Bruyne is getting paid 400,000 plus per week. Same with Salah at Liverpool. Same with Van Dijk at Liverpool. Now you're going to have to pay a lot of these players a lot of money. And the fact that we've been able to manage our wage bill well, we don't have anyone who gets paid more than 20,000 per week. I think you can afford to put 2-3 players on that if you want to win the big trophies. Yeah, sometimes you can put players on low wages and they're going to win you trophies. Young players sometimes, if you watch basketball, like Oklahoma City yesterday, you can have young players and cheaper players and you can win trophies. But if you want to regularly compete and regularly win things, you're going to have to pay players a lot of money. That just has to be the case. So great to know that Arsenal are open to Rodrgo taking a spot among the highest earners. That is great. And if Madrid are willing to accept 75 million and Arsenal are willing to put Rodrgo 20,000 per week or 280,000 per week, then I think we are going to see this. I think we're going to see Rodrgo in an Arsenal shirt, and look at how good he looks in an Arsenal shirt, man. Like, bring him right away. Although this is a shot from last season, though. But I'm sure you'd look okay with the ones for next season as well. And we have a lot of free numbers at Arsenal, maybe not the 14, but the 10 is available, and a couple of others are available as well at Arsenal. So you can have a number there for sure. So that's the list on Rodrgo from Graham Bailey. We also have an update on Rodrgo from a different journalist. That is John Cross of the Mirror. Rodrgo remains a top priority for Arsenal, and now remains to be seen whether they can progress on it and get encouragement or have to look elsewhere. Real Madrid would demand in excess of 70 million. There is belief that they may be willing to do business. So I think it's going to cost around between 70 and 80. Now, I'm not sure how the structure of the deal is going to be. Is it going to be, the whole 75 million upfront, or is it going to be, 50 million upfront and then the rest 35 million you pay in 2 installments or something? I don't know if Real Madrid do the business like that, but if that could be the case, that would be great. If you can be able to get Rodrgo, that would be great. But the ball is not in our court as of now. It's great to know that you are willing to pay that money for him, but Rodrgo has to want to leave Real Madrid first, and Real Madrid have to want to sell Rodrgo. So hopefully next game, Real Madrid again, hopefully he doesn't play again, he's on the bench, or he plays on the right side once again, and he keeps getting frustrated and hopefully does make himself available for a transfer. That would be great. There's a lot of players there, man. I don't think he's going to be starting regularly, and Adagula played really well yesterday, and players like Brahim Diaz are there, and Mbappe has been injured, he's sick, and Rodrgo has still not been starting games. So where does he fit in that team? Just come to Arsenal, please. We have a spot for you. You want to play at left wing? Arsenal is looking for a left winger. You don't want to play at right wing? We are not looking for a right winger to replace Saka. This is a win-win for everyone. You come and you start games for Arsenal on the left wing.